My name is Joshua Magnuson, and I'll be your host today on the Report Center webinar. I do want to start off at the home screen of Mobile Arms to kind of get you familiar with navigation on getting to the Report Center. There's a couple different options on getting here. So you can access it by the dashboard by clicking Report Center, or you can use the THIC client and click on the ARMS record management system and click Report Center there as well, and it'll pop you up to the same screen as you see here. So when you click on that Report Center button, you will have the start out screen, which shows the recently accessed reports and your popular reports for your department. Recently accessed would be pretty much all the reports that you, the user that's logged in, used like previously. So you can see those here. For example, I recently was using this incident report. So that is listed there. And then you have your popular reports, which is based on all of the reports that your department uses. Let's say a lot of officers use maybe case, or admins use the case management report. It would show here. So you have that on the opening page once you log into the Report Center. All right. So when another part of the webinar, I want to discuss this sidebar here, and this is mainly the different modules you have for your reports. So you can click on these different tabs, these arrows, and it is a drop down for, let's say, the arrest. You have your CAN reports and your custom reports. So a CAN report is typically just a pre-generated report that we here at ARMS made for each department to use. This is usually a something that would already have specific fields in there. So I'll show you a dispatch log. And I do want to say that each module has its own specific fields and filters that you can use. So arrest would have their own fields. For CAN reports, CAD would have their own fields. So I'll show you that here in dispatch log. All right, and then when you click on a CAN report, it will give you a brief overview of what that report will do for you. So as you can see, the dispatch log will report radio logs according to a range of events, numbers, or dates you specify. So this CAN report filter would be date from and date to. So you can just click on that and let's say the beginning of June to the end of June and hit apply. And you'll have data that will populate. So let's say if you did a CAN report for arrest and you use a specific search criteria for there, it would generate all the information. All right. So if you want to reset those specifications, you can hit reset and it'll start your filters out from scratch. Also, if you want to print the report, you can click over here and hit print, and that'll print your report to the screen, and then you can save it and do whatever you need with it. You also are able to click to the next page to see what all is in this report. So as you see, there's 7 pages, so you can click the last. You can go back to the first page, so on and so forth. All right. The next thing I want to talk about is custom reports. And as you can see here, you have your CAD, CAN reports, custom reports, and each different module will have the same thing. So once again, you click on this arrow button, and you have different options for CAD. So you have CAD reports, CAD unit reports, CAD shift reports. They all have their own individual fields that you can choose from and filters. And if you want to add in a new custom report, you just click on that specific CAD. Let's say you want to report for incidents. You would go to this CAD report and hit add new. All right, and this is the generic start out for a custom report. So up here you have your title, and you can change this towards the end once you save it. You have your filters, as you see here. These are all customizable. The date entered filter is usually just a date range, as you saw from the CAN report. You have your incident number, case number. Let's say if we don't want to filter out the case number in the report, you can just remove that by clicking this trash bin icon. If you want to add in any new filters, you can go up here to the top right, hit Add Filter. As you see here, based on the CAD reports, you have all these different types of filters you can add in here. And these filters are mainly just to kind of manipulate what the report is going to generate to this list you see here. So if I want to add a beat code, I can click OK, and then select specific beat codes that your department uses. So 11, OK. And then you would hit Run Report, and it would generate that based on beat 11. If I don't want this filter, you can always remove it. That's pretty much the use of that filter button here. You have your Add Computed Filter, which is the same thing essentially to Add Filter, but a computed filter is mainly a more specified search for these data fields. So you have your normal data entered filter, which is, like I said, the date range, and then a date entered computed filter is more of a broad search for, let's say, maybe year and month. You can do that, and then hit every single month you want, hit OK, and it would filter that out based on that more specified criteria there. All right, moving on down. If you want to group this data, you can click this Group By button. And similar to adding the filter, computed filter, you can click Add Field to choose from a drop-down list of what you want to group this information by. So if I want to group the information by incident number, you can hit OK on that choice and hit OK here. And it would group all of your information by the incident number. If you wanted to remove that, you can always go back and click on Group By and delete. All right. To add a field or remove fields, you click on this Fields button over here on the right side. And as you see, this is what we started out from that the custom report from scratch. We have all these fields: incident, case number, unit name. If we wanted to get rid of some of these, like just before Group By, you can hit delete here. If I wanted to add in a field, you hit Add Field, and you can select from which module the fields give you. So maybe location detail, you can add that in there. Notes from that CAD event. You want to remove priority, you can uncheck it, hit OK, and it'll update your list of fields. If you want to add in a computed field, which same thing for the filters, it's a more specified field there. You can add that in there, and then like I said, you have another option to kind of hone down on what information you want to populate into this report. You hit OK, and when you change those fields, it'll update your list or spreadsheet look. And once you're done creating your report, you can either export to a CSV or export to a PDF. Your CSV is more your Excel spreadsheet. This is kind of the similar look to that Excel. And then your export to PDF is, your PDF document. All right. And I do want to show you what it looks like once you save a report. But to save a report, once you're finished modifying everything, you click Save As up here. And you can name it, let's say, Incident Report. And you can add a description in there if you want. If you want to make it an agency report for your whole agency, so other users can generate reports from this, you can. If not, you just uncheck it and hit OK. And if like it shows you down here, if the report name already exists, which I have a similar report generator that I'm going to show you, it will give that indication there. All right. So once you save it, you'll have your saved reports here, and it'll look like this. This is the saved report that I wanted to show you all. It'll have a person icon here saying that you created that. So when you want to go to that, you can click on your saved report, incident report. and you have your fields and information. All right, and as you can see, I have my report groups by this date entered for month and year. So you have April 2015. You click on these drop downs and kind of close them out to make it look nicer. And then if you want to modify anything, you can click modify and change that. You can add in fields, you can remove fields, so on and so forth. Same thing when you're creating a custom report. If I wanted to change the filter, I can go in and add July or remove June, and you could just hit OK there. All right. But mainly, another feature for the custom reports is that you can change the view of your list of data here. You have your starting out table view, which is like a spreadsheet, and then you have your detailed view. It does look a little bit different here. It kind of relates to either a blotter report that you might have seen or your Clery reports that you're used to. But the detailed report is a bit more cleaner and spaced out. But each row is a different incident. All right, and the next view that you have is your pivot tables. And the pivot tables is a bit different than the table and detailed. It does pull in your fields that you use, but this is all customizable compared to your table and detailed, where you just add in those fields. And it is kind of simple. You just add those in or remove them, and it generates that information. A pivot table, you can click on your already added field and either select an incident to remove or add. Then once you do that, as you see, you can select all or select none, remove them, add a new one, and then hit OK. You can move these around, and it will generate what that report will look like. So pretty much this is just visualizing your data that you're pulling from your customer report that you made. So I can move final incident classification to this y-axis or move it to the x-axis, and it'll change the way that information looks. You can also move around the date entered. As you see here, there's it shows the April, February, all that here on the top columns. You can move that back up there. And then, like I said, same thing with incident classification. You can change the date entered. So if I wanted to remove all of the dates for April, you can remove all of those. If I want to take all of them off, you can select none, and then hit OK. So for this example, I want to keep on, let's say, we'll keep on January. So we'll have all January here. And OK, and then I'll filter in what incidents were entered for the month of January. All right, another thing I want to show is the different types of pivot tables. So the starting out is table. So as you see, table, and it kind of looks similar to your default table here. But a different view would be heat map. It's very useful. Heat map is pretty much showing which incidences are used the most. As you see here, the red indicator will show that for you. Dark red is the more incidents there are, the darker red it gets. So 11 is the max incidents here that we're searching for. White would be the least amount of number of incidents that we're searching for. So that's white. The next pivot table I want to show would be a bar chart. And this kind of displays your incidents in a column view bar chart with different indicators for different incidents here. And if you want to move that around, you can. As you see, it's not color-coded, so you'll want to kind of adjust that to what you need on the y-axis there. And you can move date entered, and it modifies as you change your x and y-axis up here. All right, so the next would be a pie chart, would be a useful one. And as you see, the pie chart kind of is used a different way, so you would have to adjust these fields that you have. So if it looks blue on your screen, it usually is right, but you may need to change it from the y-axis to x-axis depending on which pivot table that you're using. So yeah, this one is on the x-axis there, and it's color coded based on your incident. So you have larceny there and accident, incident. All right.
So we are going to move over to the Q&A session. I will go ahead and ask everybody if you have questions that are more specific to your department, like creating a report specific to your department or what you're needing. I'm going to go ahead and ask just to email us with email support@arms.com with what you're looking for and maybe the criteria for that, instead of asking during this webinar, because we won't be able to go through and help everybody get a report set up. But we do want to help out and answer any questions that you do have regarding the stuff we went over today in the Report Center webinar. So if you do have a question, you should be able to move your mouse around on the screen, and you'll see at the very bottom a participants button. If you click on that, it'll open up a window over on the side, and that at the bottom of that window will have a button that says raise hand. So if you have a question, you can go ahead and click that raise hand button now, and you'll also see down at the bottom of the screen near that participants button is a chat button. So if you do have a question, you can type into that chat and let us know. So we'll go ahead and pass it over to you guys and give you a couple seconds to type if you do have any kind of questions. All right, and it looks like we got a question from Lori Havard. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. All right, Lori, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, we can hear you.
I was just wondering, whenever you do the pivot chart, like the pie chart, can you, where it had the percentages, can you move those around and can you change the color of those?
Not currently. That's something we could look into, but I don't think there's a way to change the colors. It just randomly generates those colors.
I just noticed the percentages were a little bit off of the pie chart, so it might be hard to read.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. And that may be just the resolution for Josh's machine, but I don't think there's a way to move those around through the Report Center.
Yeah, I want to say it does generate, like you said. It could have just been my resolution.
Okay, thank you.
All right, no problem. All right, we got a question from Patrol. So Patrol, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. All right, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, awesome. You might have covered this as I came in a little late. I'm sorry, this is Sandra Watson from the Waveland Police Department.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to get a breakdown report, just like those with the pie charts and everything, but to break it down statistically across race, gender, and ethnicity?
There could be. This is one of those ones we may want to turn into a support question, because
Gotcha.
you can build off of the ones that you put in the y-axis and the x-axis. You can put more than one in the y-axis, if that makes sense.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
I would say, yeah, I would say email support@arms.com with what you're kind of looking to try and do, what criteria, what fields and stuff like that you'd want to keep track of. And we'd be able to jump in and kind of play around in the system and see if we see what the best way to create that for you would be.
Yeah, and typically, based on like the module, each module will have the fields that are used. So let's say an arrest, like if you type in those fields into the arrest module, when you create a custom report, those fields will be there for you to use. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah, so if it was something you'd want to base off of a case or an arrest, you're going to see different fields than the one that you saw while Josh was going through the CAD section.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
No problem. All right. Any other questions? I don't see any in the chat either.
Yeah, if you can't think of a question now and you need one, just feel free to email in at support@arms.com or give us a call.
Oh, here we go. Susie Matthews in the chat. The topic of race and gender, ethnicity will be a nationwide issue soon. Here in Colorado, we just had a law signed into effect that requires us to report to the state certain statistics on this. That's actually something we've talked to some, I think it was actually Colorado departments, and I don't know if it was your department, Susie, but it deals with the profiling data or the profile data, which is what is where you would be able to pull that information. So you may be able to pull it in Report Center. I'm not saying that you can't see that, which Mary Carver said she's done that report herself, and she is in Colorado. So you may be able to reach out to her or reach out to us, and we'd be able to help out as well. But I know that there is some stuff going on with profile data and requiring stuff like that. But I know that you can probably create it in Report Center as well for anyone else that might have to create something like that. Yeah, and actually that might be a good thing that we can kind of look at, because it sounds like that might be what Sandra was looking at too, a report with all that information. So if you do have questions on creating one of those, you can just email support@arms.com and we can help with creating those. Because I imagine there will be a lot of people looking to make reports similar to that.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions? All right. I'm not seeing any other questions, but if you do have any questions, you can always reach out to support@arms.com. I've said that email so many times already, but you can also call 1-800-776-6783 if you have any questions. But thank you for joining our webinar today, and we'll go ahead and let you guys go. I hope everybody has a great day and everybody stay safe.
Thanks for coming out. Have a good one.